Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode we started the new episode of the something banter, blah, I didn't look up, I'm just keeping recording here. Sorry for that, I'll deliver the title of the episode in the video description. But right now we have kind of cleared our name in front of Susato-san, and we showed us some evidence that we might not be the killer of Kazuma, who was killed on the ship while we were traveling to London in Great Britain in England. And unfortunately he's dead. As you can see here, this is the outline of his body. He was killed and we were in a wardrobe right next to it while it all was done. We don't know anything about it because we were kind of asleep or knocked out in some way. We really don't know. And now, right now, we're supposed to investigate the area and see if we can find some clues. But first of all, we can converse, apparently. Or is it just, okay, it's just this. But I'm just going to go ahead and converse with Susato-san. Okay, there's nothing to converse about, so we're just gonna go ahead and examine a crime scene for the very first time in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's go. Alright, so so we could talk to him apparently. Perhaps I should see what this Russian criminal makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering how it's going, the investigation I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Oh, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Okay. I'm sure you're careful to look all around using BM. Oh, no, be a bad manner. Aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Don't worry. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Okay, but that's fine. We can just click 2, can't we? Yes, we can. So I'm gonna look around very thoroughly, guys. Don't you worry. I wanna achieve all achievements. I wanna get all of them. Okay, so here's something. This seems a little odd. This seems a little odd. This seems odd. You already talked to him. Okay, so there's a check mark, so we know we already did that. We can check that, check that. Okay, there's a lot to check out here. So let's start with the table. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No. Okay, nothing in particular here. Let's check out this. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Sorry. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet, You? Can you really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on the ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Alright. So that's his sword, right? Let's look at the plate first. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Oops. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. Oh, that's curious. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right, so he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and achy stomach. Well. So we check this out. This shard or whatever this is. But let's check out... Let's check out his sword first. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that the Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Alright, so... let's read the warning sign. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Okay, but what about the katana? What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking, are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Let's look at the shelves. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look! They've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Most likely they do, right? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. No, that's evidence. Okay, she said it straight. Okay, alright. Okay. I guess we'll take that. Oh, let's try to open the door. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense up. I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and the thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle on thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Oh yeah. Okay. So, let's check out this shard here. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Natsuka fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It is a short brick. It has a sort of a brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. So here's the ink that Kazuma used to write, or someone used to write something. Alright, so let's check out this. The trunk. It's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes. I see it says, "This way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than Susato's takedown. Okay. Let's check out the secretary here. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have said whenever he was writing. Oh, he was writing something. London diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! Oh, takedown. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But well, what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? All right. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Well... is there something up here? No, there isn't. I don't really want to look here. Poor Kazuma. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Garderobe. I think it reads. I'm not sure. I don't read Cyrillic. I can't read Cyrillic. But in ancient Greece, this is a gamma, so garderobe, garderobe. I have no clue. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moment, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a Pharaoh script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? So he could tell us, but he's not going to tell us. Alright, so we check this out. It's time to check here. Can we check the bed? We can't. Okay, we can check this. Can we check the chair? No, we can't. We can check the wardrobe. Let's check this first. This is... Yes, it's a bell-cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really, that sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Just like Maya. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Okay, unfortunately nobody came. But we do have this to check out. But maybe I'm supposed to check the wardrobe outfit. Let's just check this. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. Mr. Sholmes. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in the crosshair, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get the suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Yeah, we're gonna keep examining, but let me check here. Did I overlook something? Doesn't appear that way, because I want to check the wardrobe before talking to Mr. Sholmes, to Herlock. So let's check the wardrobe first. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. But the trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Alright, so we checked the wardrobe. So it's time for Mr. Sholmes to shine. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh! This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't... something. Oh! What exactly were you doing on Cosimo's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign claims, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at last. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction. Hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beriband occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives the eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too? It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Yeah! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just... sorry. What kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it. You see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest... This ship is en route to England. Sorry, guys. This ship is en route to England and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, and observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Huh? I don't think you introduced yourself? Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same, the inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Sasato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. Will he have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure? Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Alright. Apparently, we're supposed to... Can we... Let me just check over. Sorry guys, but I want to be thorough, so... We checked everything here, right? Before we converse with Mr. Holmes. Can we converse with him? Yes, we are supposed to converse with him, but we almost reached the half-hour mark, so I'm gonna end the episode right here. If you want to know what Mr. Holmes has to say about him being a great detective, Kazuma's death, and what you were just investigating, you'll have to tune in next time when we play The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.